My number one, again, I can't stress how incredibly underwhelmed I am by the fact that we only have four that, verses that jumped out for the month of June. Is Maraza with a song called Black Skin.
Myself a pick and pay, asking what if I was white.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Maraza Lona. You tuned in to Behind the Bars. My name is Maraza again, and it'll be Maraza again for another few years. And of course, today I'm breaking down my verse, which is verse 2 on the song Black Skin, aka Pick and Pay the Price. Breaking this down because it's number 1 in verse of the month. Big shout out to Stogie T. I've been climbing up. That's the top 5. Just gang, gang, gang. And now. So verse 2 starts off with, I found myself at Pick and Pay asking what if I was white, what if my hair was bright, my eyes were not as black as night, and if my past was laden with victories, not strife, and if my name was Jaden, would I need to prove I am right, would I be searched against my will? What if I was white, apart from it being one of my favorite songs by Sticky Fingers, it is also a question that we find ourselves asking ourselves a lot as Black South Africans. We've become so well adjusted to discrimination on the basis of skin color that we always shuffle it to the back of our minds and try and find every other reason for why something happened, except the fact that we are black. Because more often than not, what has happened in our country is that there's more people saying stop playing the race card than there are people saying, why is the race card still playable? What is it that leads people to say this is because I'm black? We attack, don't say it's because you're black, it's not about skin color. Instead of, hey, what happened and why? You know what I'm saying? So I ask myself that question a lot, and I particularly asked myself that question after a very now infamous incident at a fast food supermarket chain. And if my hair was bright and my eyes were not as black as night, these are all the characteristics of black people, especially the hair part. We not too long ago, after hashtag Asinavalo, and a particular area of South Africa was lost to a particular political party, I think some people started coming out of their shell. Some South Africans started coming out of their shell and telling young black girls that they can't wear their black hair in the black way, you know what I'm saying? So hair is very, very important, and not just in the Bible, but amongst many other things. This is what defines us. This is who I am. And I found myself questioning it. If this thing was different, would I be treated differently? If my eye color was different, would I be treated differently? There's everything black is associated with malice, and everything opposite of that is associated with goodness, like blue eyes. Oh, he's innocent. There's no way he could kill you. He's stabbing me. What if my past was laden with victories and not strife? The past is always told. History is always told from the perspective of the victor, and we've been losing for a very long time as black people. Ever since the first guy yelled "Land ahoy!" and they touched down. It's never been about the enrichment of us. It's always been about the betterment of whoever those people that first arrived here were. They were here to find things to take. You know what I'm saying? They were not here to learn or to nurture or to grow anything. Now, other people were born in the process, and we have some wonderful South Africans who are of different ethnicities, most of which come from Europe. But at the end of the day, the fact that we are second-class citizens is something that still goes on right now. So from back when we were being, looted and people were arriving for the first time to conquer us, the narrative has always been told from their perspective, and we are always the guilty party or the bad guys, even though we're the ones who lost the most. So if my past was laden with victories, and laden means, placed over or tiled or laid in succession. Yes. Rappers need to get their vocabulary up. If my past was decorated with victories and not marred by loss and by struggle, would things be different, And the answer is yes. And if my name was Jaden, would I need to prove that I'm right? So that's the fourth part. Everything builds up to basically saying, because I'm black, I'm guilty. If I was white, there would be no discussion. Because, it's innocent until proven guilty until you're black. Whereas with black, you just need to find out what he did. You don't need to find out whether he did something. You just need to find out what it is, because he did it. Yes, he did it. You know? And then there's a wordplay there on, obviously I'm using the name Jaden because it's a European name or something, whatever. It's a fair-skinned name. And then I said, because my name is Pamandla, something completely local, African and if my name is Jaden, would I need to prove I'm right? Would I be searched against my will? So the punchline here is there. That's like a Jaden Smith, Will Smith reference. And then going into the next four, would I be searched against my will? A, can I pursue my happiness without reminding you of Constitution Hill? Yeah. What's the deal? What's the deal? I don't have rights because the Constitution says I do. I have rights because I'm a human being. I don't have the right to dignity because it's in the Constitution. It went in the Constitution because I had the right already. So, can I pursue my happiness without reminding you of Constitution Hill? Can I please live a free and fair life that is full of potential and the resources and things that I need to reach my potential, even if you don't give me the resources? Can you please let me be? Let me live, let me exist, let me pursue my happiness in my own way. And can you do that not because the Constitution says you should, but because my beating heart and my living flesh and my red blood says that you should, because you have the same privilege, Often we need to, listen, we have rights, the Constitution says it. Fuck that shit. I'm not worthy because the Constitution has said so. The Constitution says so because I already was. The Constitution needed to say so because you were infringing on the rights I had before. You know what I'm saying? And by you, I'm talking to the man. So can I pursue my happiness without reminding you of Constitution Hill? Dignity is not a privilege. It's a right. And it seems like in South Africa, it becomes a privilege for black people. The melanin I'm living in confirmed me as a black king and settling the settler like Dino Zulu. I knew that I'd be thrown to the sharks. I debated great whites. I never thought one of the sharks would be Sisulu. Yo, melanin popping. Big shout out to feminist Twitter. Big shout out to black Twitter out there. The melanin I'm living in, I'm talking about my black skin, of course, confirms me as a black king, unsettling the settler like Dino Zulu. So, Dino Zulu was a Zulu king who really rose up. I don't know how many generations he was. I don't, off the top of my head, don't remember how many generations or how many kings he was after the mighty King Shaka. But, back in those days, it wasn't a lot of settlers. Now, the term settlers is in our history books. That's what Abo Jan van Riebeeck were referred to as the Dutch settlers. So he was very, very, outspoken in his resolve to not just give up everything we have, simply because this guy has arrived and his skin reflects more light than mine. And he was a problem to the British. He was a problem to the settlers. He was a problem to the Queen. He was a problem to everything that came here seeking to take everything that's from here. And I do think that just the presence of a black person in certain areas just really makes some white South Africans very uneasy. And that's because of the predisposition that they have. That's because of the prefabricated ideas that they have. That's because of their their generalization based on a handful of black individuals. Whereas I could also generalize based on a handful of Dutch settlers. And I try not to. I knew that I'd be thrown to the sharks because I debated great whites. I never thought one of the sharks would be Sisulu. Great white sharks. That's another punchline out there for y'all. You know what I mean? I knew that I'd be thrown to the sharks. Getting thrown to the sharks is a term that says it's the equivalent of being thrown under the bus. Right? I knew that I'd be thrown to the sharks because I debated great whites, because I came out and I questioned why this was happening to me and not happening to this white lady over there, or this white man over there, or even this other white lady who herself asked, why is this happening to him and not me? I'm not at war with white South Africa, I'm at war with the subtle racism that still exists against black South Africa. You know what I'm saying? So, but I knew that I'd be thrown to the sharks for that. I knew that I'd be thrown under the bus. I knew that a lot of people would want to distance themselves from me as soon as I start speaking out against a system that's been working well for so many other people. But I never thought one of the sharks would be Sisulu. Now, a popular TV show on SABC, including a popular guy who went on there and said, yeah, but yeah, now why is he, who buys groceries for 8K, you know? And whether that was said as a joke, or whether that was said to spite, it is making light of an incredibly serious situation and deviating from the point at hand. It's not about the fact that I paid 8,500 rands for groceries. There are many reasons why I did that. Oh, by the way, who buys groceries for 8,500 rands? I don't know. Maybe you and your family. So there were many people who tried to twist that situation and make it funny. And that is wrong, right? But I found that particularly upsetting coming from that guy. Out of everyone who made light of that situation, that is, you know, he and his types. And by he and his types, I mean, you know, the descendants of people who gave their lives fighting the exact same thing that I was trying to fight. You know, the descendants of the people who gave their lives trying to ensure that I had, you know, the little opportunity and resources to make 8,500 rand and go spend it on food for my family. The descendants of those people really, really could not have found a joke in that situation. And many people asked if I was angry at him. I was not angry. I was genuinely hurt. Because Cody Roberts also made a joke about me. She was like, what kind of a name is Maraza? What's a Maraza? That's Cody Roberts. Her surname is Roberts. But Sisulu carries a lot more weight. And, you know, the respect that I had for him and the respect that I have to this day for his grandfather and everyone else before him and, you know, the Mandelas and Yobaning. There's a lot. And it was really painful to hear that come from him. I go on to say in the verse, you see, Beggar Chief, it's not that I didn't hear you make a mockery of my abuse at the hands of racial inequality. It's just that, for me, the sound of your grandfather turning in his grave was harder for me to ignore. Without repeating myself from what I said previously, I think that statement was very distasteful. It was incredibly distasteful to joke on a national broadcaster platform about an incident where a young black South African was mistreated simply because he could afford to buy more at that particular time. And you don't know. I don't buy groceries for 8,500 rands every 2 weeks. I buy every 2 months because I don't know when my next 5K is gonna come from. I'm a rapper. So that's more of, it's not even a balling thing, it's a survival thing, it's a bulk storage. Chafe freezing. I don't mean to be spicy, but I hope Robert's son calls the sun Ilanga. It shines brighter that way. And I hope that he'll grow to call his son Indodana. He'll be a fighter that day. Because Spamanda and Maraza may not be the coolest names, but at least they were not forced upon me for the convenience of Helen Zille's colonialist cronies. So claim your name, black child, and own it. Cody Roberts made fun of my name. She's like, how the hell is a Maraza? Oh my God, what is Maraza? What is that? And I was just like, you know, I don't mean to be spicy. That's me making fun of the Roberts. But I hope Robert's son, if you don't know, there's a plug there for you, Robertson. Now they must pay slicker on life. But I hope Robert's son calls the sun Ilanga. it shines brighter that way. And I hope that he'll grow to call his son Indotana. He will be a fighter that day. I think the word Indotana is stronger than the word son. I think the word Ilanga is stronger than the word son. Because too often now, we as black South Africans, because and we joke about this all the time, isiNgisi is associated with progression. Western language is associated with success and affluence. They even say to us, oh, you speak so well. Why? Because when you see this, you think whatever is in here is unable to comprehend and learn your language and maybe command it better than you, or because you think my language is just such a garbage thing to hear. I have children and I'm constantly trying to teach my kids, your friend's name is not Tapelo. His name is Tapelo. Your name is not Mbalenhle. Your name is Mbalenhle. Imbali Enhle. Your name is not Chepo, it's Tepo. Your name is not Rendani, it's Rendani. So much of our culture has been stripped from us. So much has been taken from us in terms of the fabric of who we are. And the biggest power that people have, apart from actual physical possessions, which would be like land and cattle and the resources of their land, is our heritage and our culture, and it is directly linked to our language. It is directly linked to our language. Whether you believe in the Bible or not, but God had to liberate people from Egypt and take them back to a land that was promised to be theirs, because those people were taken from their lands and they were brought there. And when they got there, they were stripped of their language, they were stripped of their culture and their heritage. They were not allowed to practice their heritage and their culture. They were not allowed to practice their rituals and to be who they are and to honor the dates in their own calendar that are of significant importance. They were now shifting onto what the Egyptians did. And the Egyptians are not wrong for practicing their culture, but they are wrong to strip other people of theirs. And God himself came down to intervene with, this can't happen. These people must be taken from here so they can continue being who we are. Now, we were never taken anywhere. We are in our own country, yet we've been stripped. We've been stripped. You have to have an English name. And when you go to school, your Zulu or your Tswana or your vendor names are probably some of the strongest just because of the strength of the language. And I love them. Your vendor name is your first name, and then Anthony or... No, not even Anthony. But Millicent or Phineas are your second names. And that becomes the name you get called by in school. If you go to a school, even if you don't go to a school actually that has non-black teachers, because it's become such an entrenched part of the school system. I know I'm going far too long for behind the bars, but it is so incredibly important to realize how much of us gets stripped away when you introduce yourself to someone as, my name is Spamandla, and they say, can I call you Spa? No, you can't, because my name is Spamandla. If you're gonna shorten it, call me Spa, but not Spa. That is another supermarket chain. My name has an H in it. Yet we let it happen so often, and we always pronounce the English names properly. We always call Yako, Yako. We always call Mary Ann, Mary Ann. We don't go to Mary Ann and say, can I call you Marine? And Marine would never allow that. Yet we do. And my problem is, we've never even left. Trace me back 10 generations. You'll still end up within 1,000-kilometer radius and never touch a body of water. But we're the ones who inconvenience ourselves. And the person whose convenience we do it for is so accustomed to it. They grew up to it. I'm at a stage where if a white 15-year-old refuses to pronounce your name properly, don't be mad at him. He's grown his entire life watching other blacks have their names mispronounced by his parents, and they never say a thing about it. You know? That's all he knows. He knows that his name can be said correctly, but your name is interchangeable. He can call you whatever is convenient for him at that time. And you know, I wanted the chorus to sort of give us some breathing time, because I really, more than anything, I do not want the song to sound like an attack. I wanted the song to sound like an uncomfortable conversation, but one that, like sex, like her menstrual cycle, like his first wet dream, like pregnancy, like STDs, like reproduction, is uncomfortable but must be had between those of us who are older and more powerful and those that they wish to see in the same position one day. All right, that's it from me, Maraza. Big shout out to Stogie T for deeming my verse the verse of the month. I've had a lot of time on this chart, playing between number 5 and number 3. It's good to be at number 1. Hard work and persistence does pay off. I just broke down my verse for Behind the Bars for the song Black Skin, which is going to be on my upcoming project titled Lost and Found. Thank you so much to Slicker on Life for giving me this opportunity behind the bars and behind the bars, because hip-hop is more than just hype, and it's more than just mumble rap. Don't forget, subscribe to Slicker on Life right now so you can get a whole lot of exclusives that are going to be coming from many artists, including myself.
Broadcast live